Secure attachment style. It represents a foundation of emotional stability in which a person feels comfortable with both closeness and independence. It typically develops in childhood when caregivers respond consistently to a child's needs, establishing an early understanding that others can be relied upon and that the child is worthy of care. In the 1970s, psychologist Mary Ainsworth documented this through her strange situation experiment, observing that children with secure foundations felt free to explore their environment while still turning to a parent as a safe base. In adult relationships, people with this style tend not to panic when a partner needs space, nor do they fear being vulnerable. They communicate feelings openly and approach conflict with perspective rather than treating disagreement as a threat to the relationship itself. Because they carry a reliable internal sense of security, they can move through difficulty without either clinging or withdrawing. They tend to view partners as allies, and they are generally capable of offering others that same quality of stability. Their relationships are not free of conflict, but they have the capacity to repair ruptures when they occur. They trust in the resilience of a bond, which allows them to remain present even during difficult conversations. By holding both their own needs and their partner's in view, they create a rhythm that feels safe without becoming rigid. Anxious-Preoccupied Attachment. People with this style often feel a deep-seated need for high levels of closeness and can become hypersensitive to even the smallest shifts in their partner's mood or behavior. This pattern usually stems from an upbringing where care was inconsistent, meaning the child never knew if their emotional needs would be met with warmth or met with indifference. This leaves the developing nervous system in a state of high alert, always scanning for signs of a break in the connection. As adults, this manifests as a constant vigilance for signs of abandonment or rejection, which often leads to a cycle of seeking reassurance. While their capacity for intimacy is vast and their loyalty is profound, their underlying worry can make them feel as though they are always working harder than their partner to keep the relationship afloat. It is less about a lack of love and more about a nervous system that is constantly activated, often mistaking a partner's normal need for personal space as a terrifying sign that the relationship is ending. When they feel threatened, they might engage in what psychologists call protest behaviors, such as calling repeatedly or trying to provoke a reaction, all in a desperate attempt to re-establish the connection they feel is slipping away. It matters because this state of hyperarousal can be exhausting for both partners, yet it is rooted in a very human desire for safety that was never fully guaranteed in their early years. Learning to self-soothe and trust in the silence is often the primary challenge for someone navigating this space. Dismissive-Avoidant Attachment is marked by a strong orientation towards self-reliance and a tendency to experience intimacy as a threat to independence. It frequently develops in environments where a child's emotional expressions were dismissed, discouraged, or met with silence. Conditions that teach, over time, that relying on others is either unsafe or pointless. In adult relationships, this often surfaces as emotional withdrawal when things begin to feel serious or demanding. People with this style may use distance, mental or physical, to preserve the autonomy they came to depend on as a substitute for genuine security. To outside observers, they can appear indifferent or cold, but the behavior tends to function as a protective response rather than an absence of feeling. They may focus on a partner's flaws as a way of maintaining distance, ensuring no one gets close enough to see their own inner life. This strategy offers a sense of control, but often at the cost of real connection, leaving people feeling isolated even within long-term relationships. Some idealize past partners or an imagined ideal as a way of avoiding full engagement with the person in front of them. The distance feels like safety, but what it forecloses is the closeness that, for most people, is a fundamental human need. Fearful-Avoidant Attachment, also referred to as Disorganized Attachment, is defined by a simultaneous pull toward closeness and a genuine fear of it. Of the 4 attachment styles, it is generally considered the most complex, and for many people who live with it, the most painful. It is most commonly associated with early experiences in which caregivers were themselves a source of threat rather than comfort, placing the child in an unresolvable bind, needing safety from the very person causing harm. Unlike other attachment patterns which form around a consistent strategy, moving toward others or pulling away, Disorganized attachment develops in the absence of any reliable strategy at all. The child has no safe response, so they learn to exist in the contradiction. That early experience tends to persist into adult relationships as a relational double bind. There is a genuine desire for closeness, often an intense one, alongside a deep and automatic expectation that closeness will eventually cause harm. People with this style are often acutely sensitive to shifts in a partner's behavior, and relationships can become volatile as a result, warm and open in one moment, suddenly withdrawn in the next, without any obvious external cause. What underlies these shifts is a nervous system that has never fully resolved the association between love and danger. Intimacy activates both the drive to connect and the drive to protect, often simultaneously. From the outside, this can look like inconsistency. From the inside, it tends to feel like being pulled in two directions with no clear way to move. Over time, recognizable patterns tend to emerge, leaving relationships before being left, or undermining stability precisely because it feels unfamiliar. When things are going well, the calm itself can feel like a warning. Building a way out of this pattern generally requires developing, slowly and with support, a sense of internal safety that early life did not reliably provide, and gradually learning to tolerate closeness without waiting for it to collapse.